Good morning, Dan and Amy. And President Trump has been offering videos, mainly via Twitter this week, which have been his updating the treatment that he gave and his perspective on providing that same, making sure that same treatment, the monoclonal antibody treatment from Regeneron, Eli Lilly also has one in development, is available starting with seniors, but to Americans as well, so they get the same treatment, those who are infected, that the president got, and at taxpayer expense, too, so not out of pocket for them. And this is all part of Trump trying to get people to live with the virus, not live for the virus. Even if a vaccine comes online, which people are optimistic about, there's no indication. You can't assume that it's going to be 100% effective, and it will take time to distribute throughout the population. So what do you do in the interim? Hide in a bunker? Of course you can't do that. And
some people are, which is sad.
Well, you shouldn't do it. You can, you shouldn't. It's unhealthy in so many ways, and it's particularly unhealthy for young people. And so this was Andrew Cuomo's response, Mr. America's governor, his response to President Trump saying, don't let the disease, don't let COVID-19 dominate you.
From a public service point of view, don't be afraid of COVID. No, be afraid of COVID. It can kill you. Don't be cavalier. This is just more denial.
No, it's not more denial. Obviously, as somebody who's been infected, he doesn't deny that the disease is real, dum-dum. It is the difference between saying, I recognize this is a thing. I recognize this exists. I recognize it's a serious matter. I recognize there is risk involved based on how I conduct myself. But I'm not going to live in fear.
He's just driving people back into their homes. That's very irresponsible. And the survival rate for COVID, 24 and younger, 99.99.
Well, actually 49 and younger, and it's 95% in President Trump's cohort of over 70. Look, the bottom line is FDR, the great icon of the left, nothing to fear but fear itself. Andrew Cuomo, now an icon of the left, 100 years later, it's nothing to fear except not being afraid. That's how you want to live your life? Who wants to live their life that way? Who wants that for their children? Simple questions that people need to be confronted with, so they start answering them, perhaps some people in a way that is more grounded in rationality. For more on all things COVID-related and other campaign dealings, we're pleased to be joined again by Erin, Perrine. She is Trump Campaign Director of Press Communications. Erin, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So President Trump also saying yesterday on Sean Hannity's program that per the expectation that he will be cleared by his doctors for public events starting Saturday, that maybe instead of that he's hoping to do a rally, if they can get one together in time, the campaign can. I guess that's on you guys. Perhaps in Florida. And then if the debate commission is going to stay committed to their changing of the rules after the fact, after agreement, despite the fact that there is no heightened risk. In fact, the risk would actually be less in a debate setting after President Trump has beat the virus and is better, that he'll do other public events, more rallies, rather than this non-debate virtual debate.
Yeah, I mean, the president's been clear he's not interested in a virtual debate. And there was a lot of back and forth yesterday. But listen, the debate commission's clearly full of never Trumpers and swamp creatures. And they, instead of actually being nonpartisan, non-biased, have again put their finger on the scale in favor of Joe Biden. And so we said we're not going to do that. They unilaterally made the decision. The president's been very clear. So we're hopeful now that the president will be cleared by the medical doctors at the White House, that he will be allowed to, that we can do an in-person debate. There's no reason why we can't do that. But but the Presidential Debate Commission could not show their bias any more than they are in this exact moment. Why do I say that? Because we went to them months ago and said we should move up the debate schedule. We should modify the debate schedule. And they said, no, we can't do that. That's not how this works. The rules are the rules. Oh, except when it's politically expedient for them, then the rules are we make the rules as we go along. And so they're just being hypocrites. They're being ridiculous. And the president's going to be cleared to be back out there. He wants to be back out there now. If it was up to him, he would be. But obviously the doctors are making sure he's A-okay 100% before he goes back out there. But the debate commission needs to just do what they're supposed to do, which is be nonpartisan and allow the American people. They're supposed to just facilitate the ability for the American people to see the exchange of ideas, the difference between the two candidates. And what they're trying to do is protect Joe Biden.
Well, I mean, and if they followed the science and the guidance from the CDC, 14 days after the first day you felt your symptoms, you're fine. He's almost at that. Tomorrow he'll be at 10 days, which is fine. So my question to you is, who are these people on the Presidential Debate Commission?
Well, it's supposed to be a breakup of Republicans and Democrats, but not even, obviously the Democrats have spoken ill of the president, but so have the Republicans, the quote unquote Republicans that are on there, let alone the moderators that they have. I mean, you see, Steve Scully from C-SPAN, who yesterday tweeted, Scaramucci, should I go after the president? And has a history of not only being a former Biden intern, but also tweeting and pushing propaganda against the president of the United States. So it's not nonpartisan. It's not biased. And it puts moderators up who are clearly against the president.
Well, so with the moderators, though, but these are the terms that the campaign agreed to at the outset. So a lot of people are going, well, why did you agree to have Chris Wallace and Susan Page and Steve Scully be moderators if they're known quantities, which they are?
Well, we don't get a say in who the moderators are. No. We get a say in things like the build out, like the terms of negotiation, which you heard a little bit about going into the last debate, having ears checked for earpieces, for listening devices, having a drug test taken by both candidates. Things like that, those kind of negotiation terms, those are things that we get a say in, but we don't get a say in who the moderators are. We actually put a list forward of people we would have wanted to see as moderators, and obviously the debate commission didn't take that into account.
Interesting. So the diktats here, the diktat on this is going to be a virtual debate on October 15th. President Trump said, they didn't ask us. They just told us this is what we're doing. So what has the back and forth been like since that diktat was made public? Is there any give on the commission based on the science and the data with respect to the president's health?
I mean, at this point, there doesn't seem to be much that the debate commission is willing to change in terms of their quote unquote virtual debate. But that should leave a lot of concern for the American people. We know that Joe Biden uses a teleprompter when he does interviews. We know that Joe Biden uses notes when he uses interviews. We know that he has those kind of aides available to him. So if he's in a room by himself with just his staff, you better believe he's going to try to cheat during the debate. You don't get to have somebody there holding your hand during a presidential debate. And if you need it, you probably shouldn't be running for president.
So
we can't set the parameters. So, it's tough to be able to negotiate with them. We have an exceptional team on the president's side out there fighting for him, out there doing the negotiating. So we'll see what comes through.
So what was the plan? To have the moderator and the participants in the town hall in Miami at the Performing Arts Center and have Joe Biden there and then Trump somewhere else remote?
They would have Joe Biden and President Trump both remote from different locations, and the moderator and the audience in Miami.
How does this affect the October 22nd debate?
We still want the debates to go on as scheduled. We still want to have those in-person debates. It's what we agreed to. It's what the Biden campaign agreed to. So, at this point, there are no changes we've seen. We would like to have all three debates. That's, again, what we agreed to in terms of numbers. We hope that we'll be able to make that happen. But really, the debate commission is the one who's stopping it at this point.
Well, is there some chance that you could have it, though? I mean, if President Trump has 2 negative tests in a row, that's plenty of time. Thursday's, a lifetime away in this day and age.
Yeah, I mean, never say never, right? We certainly won't rule anything out. We definitely want to make it happen. The president's been clear on that as well, but we're just not going to do it remote. The president's also been clear on that.
Yeah, totally. It's not a debate. It's a cable news network panel discussion, which are pointless.
Yeah.
What about? I mean, just in the back and forth. I mean, so if October 22nd isn't a problem for the Star Chamber Commission, I mean, it's just remarkable. Then what about having it after the October 22nd debate? Make it October 29th, a few days before the election.
I mean, absolutely. We want to have those debates happen before. We've always wanted them to happen. We are we want to be flexible. We want to make this happen. But we'll have to see what the debate commission says.
If he wins re-election, could his first order be to disband the Presidential Debate Commission?
Well, I mean, I certainly can't say anything along those lines.
I know, but
it's clearly always been a biased organization.
I mean, it's just the idea. It's the president. It's the presidency of the United States, and both Biden and Trump. I mean, both candidates, both parties, being dictated to by people about how the debate. Get rid of the moderators. Get rid of the debate commission. And the candidates just agree. You show up and I show up at this time, and we're going to talk. If we're going to do a town hall, then you pick an audience member, then I pick an audience member to ask a question. If we're going to just do us, then you pick a topic and we talk about it. Then I pick a topic and we talk about it. How about that? Get rid of all of the political ruling class, DC press corps elite types from this entire process, and just to have it, stripped down, unvarnished, two candidates discussing the issues for the American people rather than for the Beltway crowd. How about that?
Yeah. I mean, there are so many different options. Actually, Tom Bevan of Real Clear Politics just put out a tweet. He says, let's just do away with the idea that anybody's neutral. And why not have complete partisans ask the other party questions? Have Sean Hannity ask Joe Biden questions and have, Rachel Maddow ask Trump questions. Let's not pretend that people are neutral or moderate anymore, or that there's anybody who's unbiased, because in this day and age, that just doesn't exist.
All right. Well, I'm in the offing. If you need somebody, I'll ask better questions than Hannity, with all due respect. So let me ask you another topic here. So with respect to the race itself, I'm sure you get it from a lot more directions than we do, but people trying to get a handle on where this is at. The polling is wild again. It's actually eerily reminiscent to 2016. You have a poll that comes out a couple of days ago that has the president down 11 in Florida, which is absurd. Then a poll out yesterday that has him +3. And so, again, eerily reminiscent of 2016. And then concurrent with that, you have the stories about the ground game for the campaign and for the Republican Party this year, and how it is superior to the Democrats with respect to voter registration. You have the push by Democrats to do mail-in voting only, and we know the spoilage rate for mail-in ballots is much, much higher as a matter of course than it is for people who vote in person, regardless of who you're voting for, regardless of your party. There are just more errors made mailing in versus at the polling place. And you also have stories about swing areas in Michigan and Pennsylvania that are even more vociferous for Trump in 20 than they were in 2016. How do you suss out the race? What can you tell us about what the campaign thinks about where the race really stands right now, 3 weeks out?
Yeah, I think 3 weeks out, we're seeing a tightening of the polls. We're seeing a tightening of the race, especially internally. And listen, that ground game that you talk about, that's right. We have an exceptional ground game. We are chasing our voters out. We're making sure they have the information if they want to vote absentee, whatever their form of voting is, whatever it is in their area. We are getting them the information so that they can be able to safely vote, be able to do what they want to do, and cast their ballot for President Trump. Joe Biden is just now trying to bring on a get out the vote operation to be able to knock doors, even though the science hasn't changed on that. So we've been doing this for months. We've been doing this for years. Our operation is going to be able to turn out our voters. We know this is going to be a tight election. We're ready for that. We're building for that, and so we're ready to go, whatever happens on Election Day, to make sure that we protect election integrity here in the United States.
And Erin, once again, reporters asked Joe Biden yesterday about packing the court, and he once again deflected. I just wanted to know what you thought of that.
Well, it's clear what the answer is. The answer is yes, we're going to pack the court, because this is what Democrats do. They don't like the outcome. They don't like how the American people decide an outcome, so they're going to go ahead and change the rules. You see it time and again, and it's ridiculous. You see them say, okay, we're going to pack the Supreme Court because we're going to delegitimize and undermine an entire third of the government. a co-equal branch of government. And then you hear them threaten the filibuster, that they're going to do away with the filibuster in the Senate. And now they're saying they're going to invoke the 25th Amendment. Democrats don't like the rules, so they're trying to change it. That's not how this works. That's not how this country works. So this is really part of what's at stake in this election. If you do away with the filibuster in the Senate, I worked on the Hill for 5 years, and I worked for 3 in the Senate. If you do away with that 60-vote threshold there, you turn the Senate into the House of Representatives, which is a whim. And I love the House. I spent 2 years in the House as well. But they don't have those thresholds. They can do everything on a simple majority in the House. So whatever the politically expedient thing is at that moment, that's what would happen in the Senate, instead of our ability to be a neutral arbiter and make sure that we are doing the right things for the American people.
Senator Ron Johnson had an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal yesterday, an American coup attempt. People also want to know, is Attorney General Barr going to keep his word that the American people will know what happened in 2016 and 2017 before the election?
It seems like Attorney General Barr has come out and said that the Durham report will not be available before the election, but he wants to make sure he gets it right. He wants to make sure that we are getting all of the facts together so that if anybody did anything, they can be held accountable. And listen, every time the Democrats talk about, oh, Trump won't commit to a peaceful transition of power, they're the ones who refused to have a peaceful transition of power. Hillary Clinton knew she was lying, spreading disinformation. Obama knew it. When did Biden know it? Biden talked about using the Logan Act against Michael Flynn to try and undermine and take down a duly elected president and his administration. I mean, Democrats are corrupt, unbelievably corrupt, and the media just gives them a pass.
But isn't it wildly disappointing that the Durham report investigation won't be completed, the report won't be issued before the election? It is to me.
I mean, we definitely want all the information out there. We want the facts out there, but we're not like Democrats. We want to make sure we get it right.
She is Erin Perrine, Trump Campaign Director of Press Communications. Erin, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
We've all heard it. Eat healthy. But what does eating healthy mean? Sure, there are countless diets out there, but they contradict each other. Yet all experts agree we should eat a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. Whole fruits and vegetables are the perfect fuel to power the cells in your body, giving you the stamina you need to handle your day-to-day activities.